Welcome inside TCO Studios. I'm Tatum Everett, and this is Pick 6 presented by KFAN, where we answer your fan questions. It may be a short week for the team, but obviously not short enough for another Pick 6 episode. And we'll start with question number 1. Who is a player on defense that you think isn't being talked about enough? Betsy in Rosewood has the question, and Andrew Van Ginkel has the answer.
Jonathan Grenard, because just the way that he stops the run, his ability to rush the passer and affect the quarterback, I feel like he's doing it consistently game in and game out, and he deserves some recognition for it.
Well, thanks, Andrew. We have a full sit-down interview with him dropping on Vikings.com and the Vikings app this week, so be sure to be on the lookout for that one. Moving on to question number 2. This is from Johnny in Duluth. He wants to know, where do the Vikings stand in the tough NFC North right now? Voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen, takes this one.
Wonderful question, specifically off that spine tingler against the Detroit Lions. It's an awesome question because the division is so good. The Vikings just proved they can play with the Detroit Lions. Green Bay is winning some games, but their quarterback leads the NFL in interceptions. That could be a problem. And Caleb is catching fire with Chicago. Now, I don't think the Bears are going to win the division. It's going to come down to the Vikings and the Lions. The Vikings' lot in life in the NFC North is fantastic from 5-1. They absolutely can win it.
Thanks, PA. The Vikings actually don't play another divisional game until November 24th when they travel to Chicago. Our next question also has to do with divisional matchups. Question number 3 is from Andrew in Fridley. He wants to know, what is the difference between getting ready for a divisional opponent and a team outside the division? Cam Bynum answers it.
The biggest difference between preparing for a divisional game and a non-division game is really knowing that they know you really well and we know them really well. So a lot of the trickery and all of the funny stuff that you may see in a non-division game that you play them once every few years, you see each other twice a year for the division game. So it's going to be a lot tougher and really more of a mano-a-mano game, really winning your one-on-ones. So really going into it, you know, it's going to be more of a battle. It's going to be a physical battle, and it's going to be the coordinator versus the coordinator and us against them. So it's really just a dogfight. I'd say playing a team twice a year, you know each other too well. So it's like going against your older brother, you know it's going to be a dogfight.
Thanks, Cam, for that answer. We're halfway through here on Pick 6, so let's get to question number 4. It's also about the defense. He wants to know what led to Pat Jones's significant improvements. Well, we found Pete Bercich, Vikings radio analyst, to take this one.
Thank you, William, for the question. Pat Jones, I think, has embraced being an outside linebacker. I think he was brought in to be maybe more of a 3-4 or 4-3 defensive end. He has embraced being an outside linebacker. And what does that mean? Well, that means sometimes you have to be an interior pass rusher on third down. So you'll see Pat Jones moving all across the offensive line on these third down pass rushing situations. He's embraced it. He's learned to run games. He's learned to do all those different things. And the result, he's much more productive on Sundays. So Pat Jones is growing right before our eyes.
Thank you, Pete. It has been great seeing Pat Jones's improvement this season. He's actually tied right now for the lead on this Vikings defense in sacks alongside Andrew Van Ginkel and Jonathan Grenard with 5 each. Moving on to question number 5. With TJ Hockenson getting closer to being available, what do you think he adds to this season's offense?
Yeah, I think TJ Hockenson is going to add a lot to this offense. We've certainly seen it look that way in the past, and I think there's a couple of areas to keep an eye on. Number 1 is he becomes, I think, a little bit of a safety blanket for Sam Darnold. He becomes the guy that if you need a route over the middle of the field, kind of that over-the-ball type concept, he's able to do some of those things, and he is able to just run after the catch, I think, in a way that not many tight ends can do. That's one of the things that attracted the Vikings to him a couple of years ago, and having another guy that can do that will help this offense quite a bit. And I think it just attracts attention away from Justin Jefferson, which is always something the Vikings are looking to do given the way we see opponents play Justin Jefferson, where he gets so much coverage rolled his way. So if they have another way to beat coverage when it's so focused on Justin Jefferson, or make teams think twice about playing Jefferson the way they do, I think it's another way to help as well.
Thank you, Ben. It's now time for our final question, and we're going back to the Vikings beat writers. We found Alec Lewis of The Athletic to ask him this question: how big is the consistency on the offensive line, and where can they improve?
consistency on the offensive line is going to be absolutely critical for this team to continue the start that they've had. I mean, on the edges with Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill, those guys have been phenomenal and reliable, really going back a couple years now. And so for them to continue to do what they've done, and for the interior to remain a presence in the run blocking phase and hold up in pass protection is going to be huge. Now, you also asked about improvement. I think really I just center on the interior in pass protection. Guys like Garrett Bradbury, Ed Ingram, Blake Brandell, can they snap in and snap out, give Sam Darnold the amount of time that he's going to need to find receivers down the field? When he does that, as we've seen, he can throw the ball deep, and the Vikings can be explosive, but it is going to be incumbent upon the interior to continue to hold up on a snap-in, snap-out basis for this Vikings team to continue to do what it's done.
Thank you, Alec, and as always, thank you for your fan questions. As always, you can find the form online under my Twitter account @Tatum Everett to give us multiple submissions or just reply to that tweet. This has been the latest edition of Pick 6 and Skol Vikings.